everyone, I'm Jess and it's good to be back with UNISON as part of their online learning week, and I'm going to teach you how to make flapjack. We're going to do basic flapjack this morning, and on the list of ingredients that you would have all been able to access, you can add sultanas or chocolate chips to it if you wish. But this one, I'm just going to teach you to do the basic flapjack. It's a 20-minute bake, no more than that. It takes you about 10 minutes to prepare. It's easy to do on your own, with your children, with your grandchildren. Anybody can make this. So I've already weighed out my ingredients, but I will talk you through what you need. So you need 90 grams or 3 ounces of unsalted butter, or my favourite, stork, because it does make fantastic flapjacks and cakes. Also, you can use, it says demerara sugar, but I use brown sugar, it doesn't really matter. You need 3 ounces or 90 grams of sugar. I keep all mine with pegs on. And golden syrup. So it's 90 grams or 3 ounces of golden syrup, which is equivalent to 5 tablespoons, but if you like it really chewy, it's 6 tablespoons of golden syrup. And the last ingredient is your porridge oats, which is 150 grams or 5.5 ounces of oats. And you can use, it doesn't have to be the expensive ones. As you can see, I've got Morrison Savers. It was about 90p for a kilogram bag. They all taste exactly the same. So yeah, if you're going for the Savers option, you can get these in Morrison's, Asda, Sainsbury's do their own range as well. I think it's called Hubbard's, or I think that's Tesco's. They all do their own Savers range, and it's around 90p a pound for a kilogram bag of porridge oats, which is fantastic. So if it comes to it and you've made your mixture up and you feel like you need to add a few more oats in, then you can. Okay, so they are your main 4 ingredients that you need. So your butter or your stork, your golden syrup, your brown sugar and your oats. And we're going to make some flapjack. So you will need a square baking tin. If you've got a smaller one, it doesn't matter, it just means you'll get thicker flapjack. And if you can, get brown paper and line your tin, or if you're using a non-stick tin, you should be okay. I would just grease the bottom a little bit with some of the stork if you haven't got any baking paper. Okay, so if you'd like to turn your ovens on, if you have a gas oven, it's gas mark 4, an electric oven is 180 degrees, and a fan oven is 160. And it is a 20-minute bake. So if you'd like to turn your ovens on before you start, so that they can get warmed up and you're not waiting for your oven. Okay, you will need a pan. I'm right next to my hob today, rather than me going across the kitchen back and forth, it just makes it easier. So I've put all the ingredients, I've put the butter and the sugar in a pan. And I'm going to, I've got an extra bit of dark sugar in there. Let me just take that out. I'm going to melt those and add the 5, I'm going to put 5 tablespoons in because I don't like my flapjack really chewy. So I'm going to add the 5 tablespoons to the butter and the sugar in the pan, and then we're going to put it on a medium heat and melt it down. Okay, so I'm going to put the 5 tablespoons in now. And this is where you can potentially get really sticky. As you can see, I've gone for the squeezy golden syrup, which is ideal if you're doing this with children, because they do get absolutely covered with the tin. If you add it to the butter and the sugar, keep going. We will get there. While I'm waiting for this to come back out, sometimes it doesn't want to play. I'm going to put my hob on ready so that we can melt it down. There we go, we're filling back up again now, which is fantastic. Pouring it onto the spoon, as you can see, my tablespoon, 5 tablespoons or If you like your flapjack chewy, I'd do 6. I'd do no more than 6 because you don't want it that chewy. It is a really easy thing to make, and it does store well and it does keep well as well. You can keep it in containers probably for, I'd say, 4 to 5 days. If you're going out on picnics, you can take it on that as a snack, as a snack for the children. You can put sultanas in it. You can even put some fruit in it if you want to, or chocolate chip. Some people put chocolate chip in it just to make it and if you really like chocolate, you could if you wanted to make it again in the future, you could go on to melt some chocolate and pour it over the top when it's cooled down. Right, so I have got 5 on there. I'm going to put it over the heat now. You need a medium heat on your hob to melt it down. Not as really sticking. I'm just going to turn my hob down a little bit so it's all in there. We're ready to just stir it occasionally. So I am talking to you while mine is on the heat. Just see if I can turn you around a little bit. There we go. So if you stir it occasionally till all the sugar has completely dissolved and the butter, I have my oats over here in a separate bowl because we're going to pour the mixture into the oats. Don't pour the oats into the mixture in the pan. You need to empty everything from your pan into your bowl. Okay? So all your oven should be on now. Nicely warming up. And your mixture should slowly be dissolving. This is a really good snack to make. Well, like I said, if you're going on a picnic or a trip, it's also another good one. It will go brown in colour. It'll go like a goldeny brown colour, the mixture, as it's starting to melt, because that's your golden syrup in the brown sugar. Just keep stirring until it's all melted. But just be careful not to let it burn, okay? You don't want the sugar to burn. So my sugar is starting to dissolve now. Just waiting for the rest of the butter to melt. As you can hear, I'm melting the butter. Then once it's melted, we're going to take it off the hob. So mine has gone like a brownie colour now. Everything has melted, the sugar's dissolved. To make sure that it has completely dissolved and the butter's melted. So you should just get like a syrupy consistency, a really thin syrupy consistency now. So I'm going to take it off the heat and show you mine. Which is, can you see in the camera? I'll just put some on the spoon. So that's what it should look like. Okay, everything's dissolved. Turn my hob off, and now we're going to pour it into the oats. Okay, just move it back. Now I've moved away. So I have 150 grams or 5.5 ounces of oats in there, and I'm going to pour my butter, sugar, melted butter, sugar, and golden syrup into the oats. So it will look like this. You can see I've poured it all in there. So we're going to mix it round and it's all going to start sticking together. But if you feel like you haven't got enough oats in there, you can always put some more in. Okay? But completely cover the oats that you've got. And it will get sticky. That's why I'm using a big wooden spoon. I'm going to put a few more oats in mine, because as you can see, I've used 5 tablespoons of golden syrup and I still need a few more oats. So I'll probably just put another handful in there, put another handful of oats in, and use my hands. And it will cover, the mixture will cover them. For those of you that want to weigh it out, if you want to put another ounce in, you can. I've just used 2 handfuls. And we'll just carry on mixing it round. It really is that simple to do. Now, the flapjack won't rise because there's no flour in it. Okay? So it's not going to be extremely thick. You don't need it to be thick. But yeah, you can use a small tin, a big tin. The smaller the tin, obviously, a little bit thicker the flapjack will be. So you should be mixing it round, and that is what it should look like now. All mixed in, ready to go. My oven is on. I have an electric oven. So my oven is on 160. Fan oven, sorry. Mine is on 160. I'm actually going to see if I'm going to use a smaller tin. Because I think the one I've got is just a little bit too big. Yeah. 20 by 20. That's better. So yeah. I've just transferred it to a smaller tin. The size of the tin doesn't really matter. So as you can see, I've just gone from that size to that size. That will be just a little bit thicker, thicker. So, what we're going to do now is transfer it to the tin and then you press it down. So you've got your tin that's been lined in your mixture, and you transfer it over to the tin with your spoon, or just pick the bowl up and transfer it in if you wish. You should get out of this at least 10 to 12 nice square pieces of flapjack if you're cutting it in squares. Some people cut it into slices. But yeah, so once it's in the tin, you need to get a metal spoon and press it down. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of this out of my bowl. So I'm using all of the mixture in the tin. Okay, and then what we need to do is press it down so it's all flat in your tin. Okay, so I'll show you. Then we're going to cover the tin. Yeah, this one's better. This tin's better. You could also make these in make this in larger quantities for kids' parties, or even if you was doing a tea party, even an afternoon tea. I've been to some afternoon teas where they've had it I've never done flapjack for an afternoon tea. I've done it for a children's party, but I've never done it as an afternoon tea. I've been baking since I was 5 years old, for those of you who want to know a little bit about me. I've been baking since I was 5 years old. I was taught to bake by my nan, who was, and this is just my opinion, one of the best bakers. She was amazing, bless her. And from there, I just carried on. I went to catering college. I specialised in desserts and pastries. And I do a lot of baking for community events and charity events. And in lockdown, I created a baking group with my daughter, who's now 14, called Baking with Jess. And we did online live baking sessions twice a week. And I had bakers from the age of 3 right up to the age of 95. So that kept us all going through lockdown. And I also did some baking videos for UNISON last year, which was fantastic. Again, part of UNISON's lockdown videos, trying to help their members with things to do. So yes, I do a lot of baking, and I absolutely love it. My dream is to get on the Bake Off one day. I'll keep applying every year, but there are some amazing bakers out there. So fingers crossed, I get on there hopefully in the next 5 years. So as you can see, we've flattened it all the way down. We have a square, completely square, and that smells amazing already. So what you need to do now, when it's completely, when you flatten it all down, is pop it in your oven. I would say centre shelf. If you have the shelf on the top, drop it down to the centre shelf. Your ovens, if it's gas, should be gas mark 4, 180 degrees if it's electric, and 160 if it's fan. I would bake this for no more than 20 minutes. I would set your timers, or your Alexas if you have one, for 15 minutes and check it. If it's going nice and golden on the top, take it out. Because it will be cooked. It will be cooked. Or if it's not quite golden, leave it in for another 5 minutes. But don't bake it for any more than 20 minutes, because you don't want it to go and get burnt. Okay, so I'm going to pop mine in the oven now. Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes, please.
15 minutes. Starting now.
So mine has just gone in the oven. Alexa's going to tell me when it's ready, and then I will be back to show you what mine looks like when it's done. See you soon. Hi everyone, welcome back. I've just taken my flapjack out of the oven. Mine was in there for 20 minutes, and as you can see, it's a nice golden colour. It smells amazing. You leave it to cool now, probably for about half an hour. You can leave it in the tin, in the baking paper. Don't try and cut it now. I would cut it when it's cooled down. But yeah, I'd give it about half an hour before you slice it up, and enjoy. And I will see you soon for the next baking video.